So here you have a title page. These are pretty simple to do. All you got to do is put your title up here at the top. A picture could be Google Images, it could be a drawing, could be anything that kind of captures what your film's about. Then we have our logline and our tagline. So your logline is a 1 or 2 sentence, almost like a summary of your film. It's a sentence that gets to the point of your film and tells the audience what they're going to be watching. So for this film, it's the cook on a Russian cooking show puts arsenic in her food so that she can kill her husband. There you go. Short, sweet, to the point. You know exactly what's going to happen. Tagline is more of like a what's going to be on the movie poster kind of thing. So for Alien, I believe it was in space, no one can hear you scream or something like that. So like something really short, again, that kind of encapsulates your film. So what would be on your movie poster? We can't forget the most important ingredient. Boom. Quippy, fun, something to put on the poster. Then down here you have your filmmakers. Everybody who worked on the film you'll put down here, and then you'll put your class and what the semester is. So that's the title page. Alright, so you've got your script written. I'm going to show you how to line a script. So I like to use just like a bunch of different colors. You can do whatever you want, you can just use all one color, whatever you feel. So first, we're going to go ahead and take a highlighter or something and highlight each of our scene headings. This one only has one, so I'm just going to highlight the one. For any script that you write or any script that you see that you have to line, make sure you highlight every single scene heading. It'll have like interior or exterior, whatever the location is. Then you're going to go through and count the length of each of your scenes, and since this one only has one scene, I'm just going to go through and count all the pages. So whenever you line a script, you measure it out in eighths, so just break up your entire script into eighths. So this is just one full page, so what you do is you go over to the side here, you write a 1, go to the next page, this is also another page, and then this last page, be generous with your lengths. I'd call this 2/8 just to be safe. Put that there, and so then you'll count them all up, 1, 2, 2 and 2/8. So you'll put that up at the very top. I like to put it in a different color just to say how long each scene is. So this one is 2 and 2/8 long. And there you go. And then here comes the fun part. You can kind of play around with it and see which shots you want to do. So best idea is to make the whole scene, give it a master shot, so that'll just be like one wide shot that kind of establishes the scene. So I like to just make the first shot all of it. So you'll just mark out, put a little line where you start, go to the next one, just so you know where you want to start and stop. And then for this, I'll put the line at the bottom to know where to stop. So if I go back to the first page where I started it, you'll want to label each of your shots. So for this one, we'll call it 1 because we're in scene 1. A, because it's our first one, our first shot in scene 1. So for every single shot in this example, it'll all be 1 something, So, because there's only one scene. If you had 2 different locations, 2 different scenes, you'd have 1A, you'd have 2A, you'd have 3A. If you have a third scene, third shot, not third shot, third location, third scene. But for this one, it'll just be ones. So I'll just go down. I'm gonna think I'd like to have this little section in a different angle. And I'd also like to have this part right here in a different angle. So you can kind of just go through, put whatever you want. If you see something where there's some kind of action going on and you're like, I'd really like to have a different angle of that, just label it. The shots can overlap each other. If you want to have like this whole shot right here, this whole section, if you wanted to have that in your 2B or 1B shot, that's just fine. You can overlap. There's some examples coming up here in just a second. So you just go down, label your shots. I think right here. Have another shot. So here's where it kind of overlaps, I think, personally. So I'd like to have 1G. Then I'd also like to have 1H go a little bit into the next section. So this corresponds directly with your shot list. So you will take this, you'll take this, your line script, and you'll kind of take your different shots, your 1G, your 1H, stuff like that, and you'll put it into your shot list, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, now you've got your shot list up and ready to go. You can just use the example that I put up in Blackboard and just download that and then open it with Word. At the top, you'll put your title, whatever the title of your film is, and then below that, you just put shot list. For your scene headings, you'll go in here and change them to whatever you need. For this one, it's kitchen, interior kitchen day. So there you go. Change it to whatever you need. And then down here will be all of your shot numbers and letters, and then what kind of shot they are, and then a brief description of what's going on in that shot. So if I were to go, so shot 1A for us, for this example, is a wide shot and it's a master. So there you go. And you don't need to put a description for the master because it's just the whole scene. So 1B is a medium shot. So put what shot it is and then who the subject is. So Olga is the subject in this one. And then parentheses, what's going on in this. So she's explaining the day's dish. And there you go. So you'll move on to 1C, 1 Charlie. And this one, I believe I want to be a close-up. Who's the subject? The arsenic is the subject. And then it's an insert. So whatever to help you, this little like description is really just to help you and help the other people working on the film to kind of envision what's going on in the scene. So you can put whatever you like arsenic, this one's an insert. So the camera knows that we're going to be close, the lighting department knows that they need to light differently because it's an insert, stuff like that. So 1 Delta is a medium shot of Olga. She's explaining the smell of arsenic. Okay, I'm only going to do a few of these. 1 Echo, I want to be a close-up of the counter. and what's going on the counter in the shot, placing the 9x9 and pouring the broth. Okay, one foxtrot is a medium shot of Olga remembering the Jello. And then one golf, I think I want to be a close-up again of the 9x9 when she's stirring in the Jello. So there you go, you got the idea. You'll just go through the rest of your script, go through the rest of your shots for each scene, and kind of go through and do this. You can decide what kind of shots you want. You can print out one of these templates. There's one on Blackboard for you, or you can find another one online, or you can make your own. So first, you want to write down the title of your film, whatever it is, write it up there. You'll write down your name, and then down here, you'll go through your shot list that you just made, and draw out a frame for each of your shots. So I like to put up in the corner like what the shot name is. So I'll put 1A up here in the corner, do 1B, let's see, okay, so what you'll do is for 1A it's a master and it's a wide shot. So you've got your character and she's in a kitchen, so you, especially for the master, you don't have to draw out, you know, every single wide shot that you have for the master. So I'm just gonna draw out like a counter. Maybe the fridge is over here with the door handle, and then you've got our character standing there. She's maybe got like some props over here. Maybe there's a window. Whatever your set looks like. So basically we have a rough idea of what the frame should look like. And then down here on the bottom of your frame you should write down what you put on your shot list. Or you can kind of write something a little bit different, but it should have the same effect as the stuff on your shot list. Just a basic description of what's going on and what the frame size is, stuff like that. So this is a wide shot, and we'll just say master because that's just the best description of what it should look like. One beta is a medium shot of Olga explaining the day's dish. So this will be the same, I kind of want it to be the same angle, just closer. So we'll make Olga the main focus. Medium shot is her head and most of her shoulders, and then we've got the counter here, and we've got some props and the window, and there you go. So medium shot of Olga, medium shot Olga explains dish, and there you go. So you just keep going through. One Charlie is a close-up of the arsenic, so we'll have the counter here at the very bottom, and then we'll have the bottle of arsenic sitting right here. And there you go. So it's just simple as that. Just drawing a basic frame so that you and your team can see what's going on in each of the frames. Close up, arsenic, and it's an insert. So stuff like that. I'm just going to do these three. But go through and do every single one of your shots. Here is the shot list. This is just a template for what you can use. This is pretty standard, so I'd recommend just using this as your template. Here in this middle box, you're going to put your title, whatever it is. You can kind of adjust it how you want it, however you want it to look. A lot of the times with bigger projects, they have like their logo up here. So the date is for whatever day that you're shooting on, whatever day that this call sheet is for. So blah, blah, blah. Today's the 2nd. If you were shooting today. Your producers, your directors, your assistant directors, whatever, whoever their names are, you'll put in here. For the weather, this will be the weather for the day that you shoot. You can have like when the sun comes up and when the sun goes down, stuff like that if you want, if that's important to your shoot day. Call time, this will just be for the main call time. For bigger projects, you'll have different call times for each of the, you'll have different call times for cast members, you'll have different call times for crew members, stuff like that. But the call time in this big box here is just for whatever time is, for most of the people to come. So we'll just say 5 p.m. Lunch. You can put whatever time lunch is at. If you're having dinner, you put dinner, and then you put whatever time that's at, breakfast, etc., etc. Production office. This is for, you'll just put the address in here for wherever your production office is. So for this class, it'll most likely just be, our classroom number. So Craig Hall 318. If you're working on a bigger project, it'll be most likely your producer's house or an agreed upon main meeting space, wherever. But for this class, it'll just be Craig 318. Nearest hospital, you'll put that in there to where the nearest hospital to where you're shooting. For the school, it's Mercy Hospital on Woodhurst Drive. Yeah, just in case anything goes wrong. Locations, so this will be specific to your script, specific to your shot list. It'll be wherever you're shooting. So on the day, whichever day that you're shooting, you'll make specific to what scenes you're shooting. So by that, I mean, if you have multiple shoot days and you're shooting a couple scenes today and a couple scenes tomorrow, whatever, you'll just put the locations for whatever scenes that you're shooting that day. So you'll just put what the location is. So say it's Craig Hall, and then you at Missouri State University, and then you'll put the address of Craig, what room number if you want to. You'll put parking, where everybody can park, and then contact info. Parking is really important for if you're shooting at somebody's house, like can they park on the street? Can they park in the apartment parking lot or something like that? And then contact info for whoever is in charge of that location. For your scene and description, you'll put the scenes that you're going to shoot for that day. You'll put a little description. You put what the location is, and what all is happening in that scene. So whatever scene that is, you'll put the cast numbers. Each of the cast will have their own numbers in the next section here. I'll talk about that, but each of the cast members will have numbers. So if you only need cast member number one, you'll put 1. If you need 1 and 2, you put 1, 2. The pages, how they're like the calculated number of pages. So if you're shooting scene 1 and it only takes up 3/8 of a page, you put 3/8. If then you're shooting scene 2 next, and that takes up 5/8 of a page, you put 5/8. And then you'll just total up the number of pages that you're going to shoot for the day. For an average day, you're looking at like 2 and 4/8 pages, 2.5 pages is pretty good average. For this class, you can pretty much do all of it in one day if you really wanted to, but for a bigger project, 2.5 pages is an ideal number of pages for each day. The location, you'll just put what it's called, so Craig Hall, Temple Hall, whatever. For your cast, you'll write down their name. Here's their numbers right here, so 1 and 2. You'll put your lead role in number 1 usually, and then supporting cast down below in order of importance to the script. And then you'll put their role, what their specific call time is, if it's different, if they need to be there earlier to do makeup, or if they don't need to be there till later because their scene doesn't come up till later. You put it there. I really don't need to fill out. That's has to do with like a bigger production if there's drivers to go get them. Makeup and wardrobe, and you'll just put like yes or no if they need to be like if they have specific makeup that they need to do beforehand, if wardrobe needs to see them before they go on set, stuff like that. Set call will be different from call time. So call time is when they need to get there so they can get in makeup and wardrobe if they need to, and then set call is when they actually need to be ready, done with makeup, done with wardrobe, ready to go on set, ready to say action and go. Extras and background, if you have any extras walking around, you'll put them here. You can also put how many extras for what scene. You can be really descriptive in here however you need to. This is pretty loose formatting wise. Transportation, you really won't have set requirements. This is where you can put like props, any props that you need specific for each scene. Any vehicles that you'll need, wardrobe, any set dressing materials that you need, all kinds of stuff. So anything that you want to make sure that everybody remembers to bring or to do when they get on set. At the bottom, this formatting is weird, so this should be at the bottom of each page. The producer, production manager, production coordinator, and first assistant director boxes. In these, you'll put the producer's name and their contact information. So usually they're just their phone number. Their name and their phone number works just fine. Then for this page here, which is usually on the second page by itself, which with these bottom boxes, you'll have all your crew members. If you need to for a bigger production, you can add them. Like you can add more people. But for this class, it'll probably be pretty sparse just because it'll be mostly you doing the work. Hopefully with other people who are helping you, but it'll be mostly you. So whatever the roles are, you put their name, and then this in is what their call time is. So for this class, it'll usually just be the same call time as the main call time. For a bigger production, usually the producers and directors and production assistants, assistant directors, and a lot of like the grip and electric people and craft services need to be there right when, like earliest. They need to be there earliest basically, and production designers sometimes. The people who don't really need to be there immediately are like BTS people, sound people can do their thing when they get there. Like some of the gaffers can do their thing when they get there too, so they can see the actors on set and they can light accordingly. But yeah, a lot of like the upper, like above the line people need to be there before everyone else. But yeah, that's how you fill out a call sheet. There's an example and the template up on Blackboard. So next is the location release. For this, You'll need to fill it out even if it's your apartment or your house or anything. You'll still need to fill one out just in case, and for practice. So first things first, fill out the date, whatever date it is. Put your name, your production company. It doesn't really matter. You can put your class name, Media 365. Production title. This is just the title of your film. Building and room name wherever you are filming. So I don't know, if it's your apartment, write my apartment. Or if you're shooting in Craig, write Craig. If you're shooting in 318, write Craig 318. Property address, whatever the address is of the location that you're using. So your instructor really doesn't need to sign it unless the person that you're asking to use their location requests it. So if they do, just let me know and I'll sign it for you. And then you'll put the class number that it's for. So your class and then your section. Dates and hours of occupancy. This was going to be like what date and when and how long you are going to be in that location. This is especially important if you're using somebody else's location. And then again, the building and room number that you're using. So these are just the terms and conditions for the person that you're using their location, just so they can see that you're not going to hurt their place and you're not going to ruin it, stuff like that. And any additional terms and conditions that either you have or that they have. So say if you need to spill something on the ground, but you promise that you're going to clean it up, or if they tell you that you're absolutely not allowed to, I don't know, break anything on the ground, then that'll be their terms and conditions. So you'll then sign it. You don't really need to have the MJF department signature on this unless you're using Craig, in which case the MJF department is the building coordinator. So it's the same thing. Then you'll put the date and then they'll put the date. So if you're not shooting in Craig for this MJF department signature, just have whoever's location that you're using, just have them sign it in this place. So for the talent release, you have two separate ones. One for actors over the age of 18 and actors below the age of 18. So mostly you'll be using this first one for over 18. You'll fill out their name for them, or you can have them fill out their own name. You'll put your name, and then you'll put the title of your project here. And then you've got all kinds of terms and conditions like the location release, just saying you're going to be, you have the right to show it if you want to, you have the right to post it, and they're giving you permission to use their likeness. So that for smaller projects like this, it's not that big of a deal, but for bigger projects, it could come back to bite you in the butt if you don't get one of these signed. So get it signed, even if it's just you acting, just sign it just for practice. Compensation, this is totally up to you. If you want to buy your actors pizza, go for it. Put pizza down there. If not, and you just want to credit them in the film, just put credits. Whatever you want. You and the actors can agree on this. And then the actor will sign it. They'll print their name. They don't really need to put their address. And then the date. And then for the minor release, it's basically the same thing, except you need to have their parent or guardian also sign. But other than that, it's the same. So it's not on here because there's no template or anything for it. But if you are going to be shooting something in a building, in a public building, or outside, anywhere, even if it's just outside your house, you will need to contact the police if you're going to be shooting anything suspicious. So if any passerby walks by and they see you shooting, could they construe that as something suspicious? If they could, you'll need to contact the police. If you're shooting on campus, you'll need to contact the on-campus police. If you're shooting in a neighborhood or somewhere else, you'll need to contact the Springfield Police Department, and just kind of let them know what days you'll be shooting, when, and what you'll be doing, just to give them a heads up. And that's super important. And try to do that as far in advance as you can, just because they need time to put it in the system, get ready, and warn everybody. So they'll most likely say yes. I don't really see them having a problem with it. Every time I've contacted the campus police, they've been totally cool with it. I've never contacted the Springfield Police Department about that stuff, but I'm sure they'll be fine. So if you call them, you might need to go in to have them sign something. You can make up some kind of form for them to sign saying that you'll be shooting on this day and this day at this time. You'll be doing this, and then have somewhere for them to sign saying it's okay. If you email back and forth with them, you can just print out your email conversation and just stick that in your binder. So the police thing all depends on what film you're shooting. So if it's violent, if you're having a chase scene, if you're using fake guns, if you're anything like that, if you're gonna be screaming or running or whatever, if it's slightly suspicious, tell the police department just to be safe. So yeah, there's your pre-production notebook. I hope that helped. Let me or Canel know if you have any questions, and but yeah, thank you for watching.